The movie Titanic is my girlfriend's favorite movie, and it's now one of my favorite movies following a story that has just surfaced by Vice. Vice spoke with Marilyn McAvoy, who was a standby painter on set of the 1996 epic movie from James Cameron, and she revealed that at one point in time, the crew ate PCP-Spiked Clam Chowder. So how did this
hear about this?
I don't know, but this just came out and it's kind of a wild story. So let's break it down for you. At around midnight, which was lunch hour for a filming schedule that started at dusk and went until dawn, the crew was called together for a last meal. Even James Cameron descended from his office to toast a successful wrap. The catering team turned out an impressive spread crowned by a big batch of creamy clam chowder. People were lining up for seconds and thirds, and then it was back to work. So Vice asked Marilyn a little bit about her experience. They say, when did everyone realize what had happened? She responds, it was actually kind of comical. It was like that game kids play, Red Rover. There were the people who were okay, who hadn't gotten any effects yet, and the people who were getting high. And there were these two lines apart from each other, with some people in the good line slowly trickling into the bad line. It was at about this point that people realized that everyone who had eaten the chowder were experiencing the effects of some sort of hallucinogen. The crew vans came and picked everybody up and took us to the Dartmouth General Hospital en masse, and we went through these hospital doors at 1 a.m. in the morning. They did not know what to do with us. It became pretty chaotic. Some people were having a really hard time. I think maybe the people who had more experience with drugs were having flashbacks and bad trips. Yikes. So she goes into detail about exactly what the experience was, but in general, everyone got out of there okay. It's a weird thing that happened. It's one of those behind the scenes stories that definitely is fascinating.
And they never found out who did it. And they just kind of brushed it under the rug. I don't think they really wanted to make a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
And my favorite part actually, I'm a big fan of James Cameron as a person. He's like an adventurer, explorer beyond just being a director. But as soon as he found out that something was amiss, he ran upstairs and made himself throw up.
Really?
Yeah, like that's just funny to me.
I could never do that.
He's a badass, but what would you do?
PCP?
That's a crazy fucking drug.
That's crazy. I think, yeah, that is a crazy drug I have never done, but I have heard it is wild.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think what's interesting is our reaction to hearing this story where it's like, whoa, that's such a funny thing that happened at the rap party. Yeah. Whereas if this were to come out today that it had happened at a rap party, it would be, it would be major news.
All over the news, yeah.
And it would be outrageous, and it would be, this. I mean, it is.
Think of like I'm thinking of like another epic of like the same proportion, maybe like Star Wars. On the set of Star Wars, on the rap party, everyone got drugged.
Yeah.
That would be insane. We would not stop talking about that. There would be so many investigations. The feds would get involved.
Right. Well, I think that this is sort of a case of time heals all.
Yeah.
And we can look back and everyone's fine.
1996 was a different world.
It was 1996. It's a weird thing, and it's a shady thing that happened. Whoever did that, I mean, someone really could have gotten hurt if they had just loved clam chowder and taken it to the face.
Yeah, I love clam chowder. I would have been one of the people that had 4 servings. And I'd be just tripping
You and
balls.
Me would have been like, woo, Red Rover. So I think that while it is really dangerous, just the timing of how everything comes out, it makes me think about how we respond to these stories. So if this were to come out now, it would have been outrageous, like we have to find this person. But now that everything's in hindsight and everyone's okay, and she has this, sort of like blasé attitude about it.
Have you ever been drugged, or do you know anyone has been drugged? It's never a fun story.
I don't know if I have ever been drugged, but I definitely know. I definitely have been around someone at a party once, and she, I mean, since I'm not saying any names, I don't care, but she was looking for cocaine, and she went off to go get that. And I did not go with her because I don't do that. And then she came back, and it was one of the scariest things ever, because whoever she'd gone with was not cocaine. It was like laced with ketamine or something, and we had to like carry her out, and everything ended up being fine. It was okay, but it was really, really scary. And it just goes to show that early on, my parents and I had a pretty like transparent conversations about drugs. My dad has never done a drug in his life. My mom is a 60s baby and like super has. And basically what she said is like, look, you're gonna do what you're gonna do, but if I can impress anything upon you, and I think this is like holds true for me, you have to know exactly what you're taking and who you're taking it with. If that's what you want to do, like that's
really
your
good
life.
advice.
But you don't go off with strangers. If you don't know what you're taking, and that's why this sort of like irks me, because like maybe people would have been open to doing PCP if that's what they wanted to do, but you can't just spring that on someone in their clam chowder.
I know.
You have to. I mean, if you're gonna do drugs, which I don't advocate for, just be safe and be smart about it, like because it can get really dangerous.
Yeah. Speaking of just secretly dosing people, I just random.
What did you do?
No, not me. In the 60s, in the CIA, during like the MK Ultra era, you know what that is, right? They used to just randomly dose like lower level CIA agents, like people younger than us. They're just like throughout Langley or whatever, they would just do it because they would just want to see what would happen.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah. It's really
That's awful.
Fascinating story. Like people would just start freaking out and they'd be like, oh, he got laced. He got
Oh my gosh, that is awful. Guys, what do you think about this story? We want to hear from you in the comment section below. You think it's terrible, you think it's funny now that it's so long ago. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and we will see you next time on Pop Trigger.